Hello, my book besties, and welcome to another video. Today, I am doing a video that is inspired by Amanda from The Reading and Writing Life, and I'm going to be doing my 35 before 35. So I've just recently turned 33, and I figured, since I'm not doing enough challenges in my life, why not add another one? But I'm going to give myself 2 years to complete it in. So it's not too bad. And to be fair, some of these I have kind of started on. So we'll see how we go. But the idea behind this is that there's 35 series that I want to have completed by the time that I am 35, or at least up to whatever that publication one is at that time. So by September, 2nd, or my birthday, I guess, so the 2nd of September in 2027. These are the series that I want to have completed. So I'm going to make a conscious effort to, for some of them, start, and for other ones, finish off and complete. So today we're just going to go through them. We're going to mark any that I have already read, and yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing is The World of the Twisted Sisters, and I have absolutely loved everything that I've read so far from these two, so I want to read everything. So we're going to mark off the first 3 in the Zodiac Academy as read. So the way I'm going to mark these is I'm just going to change the transparency down to, 70? No, let's go a little bit more. Let's go 50. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, we'll go 30. And that way I can see that I have read those 3, and I next have Dark Fae, which is the first in the Ruthless Boys series. I believe up to Echo Fort is where the Zodiac Academy world sort of ends off. I don't know, I could be wrong. Also, if any of these are out of order, please let me know. I tried so hard to put things in the reading order, but let me know if you see any mistakes, because by the end of this, I was tired. Not gonna lie. All right, moving on. Next, we have Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and illustrated by Fiona Staples. And I haven't read any of these, although I do own at least half of them. So I really want to get to them. And I did put in a few graphic novel series in here because I want to read some more graphic novels. Up next is the Rick Riordan entire worlds, but his mythology world, so I tried to put them all on here. There are now new ones coming out, so I need to get on that. I have, let's not put it at 3,000. I have read the first one, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I read The Sea of Monsters years and years ago, but I would need to reread it to keep going, whereas I reread The Lightning Thief pretty recently, so I would just keep going with The Sea of Monsters and on. But yes, that's next up. After that, we've got the Bone Season series by Samantha Shannon. Yeah, I need to get to this. I did hear to read The Pale Dreamer first, so even though I was going to start with the Bone Season last month, I was meant to read it. I did start it, but I will go back and read The Pale Dreamer first. And then, as you can see, I've put blanks for ones that are coming out that I know about, so that have been announced or anything like that. So as I hear about them, I'm trying to put them in there, and then when we get the book covers, I'll put them in, and then when they're published, I will make them the same size. So that's sort of how I'm dealing with that at the moment. Up next is The Finishing School World by Gail Carriger. I have read, where is it, Solace, because I thought that this was the one that you were meant to start with, but apparently not. Apparently you are meant to start with the Etiquette and Espionage series, which is the more YA series, so I'm going to do that. Etiquette and Espionage is also on my 25 in 2025, so that kind of works out. So yes, I at least need to start this very soon. But I'm going to mark Solas off as read because I wrote it recently. Dungeon Crawler Carl, everyone has been talking about this series, so I want to see what all the hype is about, and I've heard really good things. So yes, that is on there. All right, quick coffee break. Up next is the Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle L. Jensen. I've heard a lot of really good things about this series, and yeah, there's 5 out so far and a novella. It's a shame the novella cover doesn't really match. I'm hoping that that's in one of these books because I would love to get this series if I enjoy it. And that's the other thing, I'm like, what if I read these and I don't enjoy the first one? Like, I know I'm a completionist, so I will generally always finish a series regardless. It just might take me a little bit longer. But I think if I'm really not enjoying it, I'm going to remove it from my 30 in 35 and put something else on here instead. Because I want to make this series, like my 35 picks, to be books that I'm really enjoying and series that I am really enjoying. Okay, the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. No, I haven't read Guild yet. I'm like, have I read Guild yet? No, I haven't. I need to. But yes, want to start the series. I believe it is a completed series now too. I think Goldfinch was the last one. I could be wrong, but we'll see because they are chunky with chunky books. It's going to be a running theme on here. Up next is Magnolia Parks. I've heard some mixed reviews about this series and even more mixed reviews about the author now. But from what I've heard, the first 2 books are at least really good. So I want to give them a chance. And as I said, if I'm not enjoying it, I'll just pick something else for my 30 and 35. 35 and 35, I mean. Up next is the Golems and Monsters series. I have read the Book of Azrael. I read it for book club a couple of months ago. And I would like to continue on with the series. But once again, they're chunky books. Oh, that is way too... I can't do 30. I think I'm going to have to do like 40 or 50. No, even that. I might make them all 50. Oh. I think it's because I've got a decorated background, so it just... I don't know. Even that looks too... Let's see what 60 looks like. 70? It's starting to get too dark. Alright, I'm making it 50 and calling it a day. That'll do. Okay. I'll probably end up going back and changing all the others just so it's all the same. But enjoyed the first one. Definitely keen to continue on with the rest, especially because the 4th one has recently come out or is about to come out. It might be about to come out. But anyway. Up next is Paladin's Grace series, or the Saint of Steel by T. Kingfisher. I don't know about the series. I am hopeful for the series. I just don't have the best track record with T. Kingfisher at the moment. I am currently in the middle of Hemlock and Silver and really enjoying that. But other ones haven't worked out for me, so I just don't know about the series. But people seem to love T. Kingfisher, and I love her writing. Absolutely love her writing. So I want to give it a chance. See how we go. Up next is Chew. Another graphic novel series, and I have quite a few of these, so I just want to get them read. Yeah, enough said. Alright, the Jade City or Green Bone Saga by Fonda Lee. I've heard so many amazing things about this trilogy, and I need to see what all the hype is about, so that is on there. The Broken Kingdoms series. I think J.L. Andrews is one of the few authors that I have on here twice. So I've got this series as well as another one. So really, if I do end up really enjoying both of them, what I might end up doing is just putting their entire backlist as a one thing and then add another series on rather than taking up 2 slides. So I'll see how I go with that. But at the moment, I want to see what this series is about. Okay, House of Devils by Kayla Edwards. I've heard so many good things about this series. Again, chunky books. I am planning on reading The City of Gods and Monsters this month. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Okay, the Thesma World. I have read Blood and Steel and absolutely loved it. So I'm continuing on. I do own Iron and Embers, and I want to get Thorn and Fire when that special edition comes out, and then I need to get my hands on the rest. But I have a special edition of Iron and Embers, so I'm kind of sad that there's not a special edition of the main series. Would be nice one day, but we'll see how we go. Okay. So Sarah J. Maas. Yeah. I will mark off what I've read. Don't judge. It's one that I've been meaning to get to, but because so many people talk about them, I'm scared. Oh wait, no, yeah. Even though I have read this, I will reread it. So I'm sort of like, do I mark it off or not? Actually, you know what? I'm not going to mark it off because I want to reread it. And then do the complete world. But I need some motivation to push through just because, as I said, I've heard so much about it. Everyone talks about it. Everyone raves about A Court of Thorns and Roses series and the Crescent City series that it scares me that it won't live up to it. That's what it is. It scares me. Anyway, the Rebel Blue Ranch series, I have heard amazing things about Layla Sage, and I want to get into it. Wild and Wrangled recently came out, so I'm debating just getting all 4 and demolishing all 4. They seem like some really good summer vibes, so maybe over the Christmas period, because obviously it's summer for us here, I might just read while I've got some downtime. But yes. Alright, next up. The Realm of the Elderling series. So many people are doing read-alongs of this series. And everyone just talks about how good of a fantasy. Oh my god. Why is my vacuum talking? Anyway, so many people have spoken about how this is such a good series. So at some point, I want to read it. But the size of these books really intimidates me. Not gonna lie. But that's the same as quite a few that are on this challenge. And that's why it's a challenge, right? Yeah. Okay, next. Victoria Schwab v. Schwab. Love. Absolutely love her writing, and I want to read everything. So that's the plan. That's the goal. I am going to be rereading the Darker Shade of Magic series starting this month because I want to keep going with the new books that are coming out. What else have I read? I've also read Gallant. And yes, there's so many on this that I keep meaning to read that have been on my TBRs and I just don't get around to them. So, yeah, I need to prioritize because I do really enjoy V. Schwab's writing and want to read everything. Okay, another one that scares the living daylight out of me just because of how big it is, but I really want to read the Discworlds series. I just think that they'll be so fun, and I don't think it's going to be a hard read either, because they are sort of that, I think they're middle grade books, or middle grade, like early YA. So at least I hope that's what they are. But I just want to experience Terry Pratchett. He had such a massive impact on the fantasy world and writing for kids that I want to enjoy this world. So that's the plan. All right, so Red Rising Saga. A lot of people have talked about how this is their favorite fantasy series, so I want to know why, and I want to know why Pierce Brown was so in love with the series that he decided to go back and write more in it. So yes, I need to experience this world. Next up is Heartstopper. I really enjoyed the first one in this series, so I want to go back and read all the others and just experience life through Nick and Charlie. And I believe the sixth one is coming out soon. I just don't know when. But I think that's going to be the last one. Yeah. It's just a nice, simple graphic novel series. So looking forward to it. And it's got some good rap in it. Up next is Lock and Key by Joe Hill. I have all of these books, so I just need to read them. And then, yeah, I have seen a little bit of the TV series and enjoyed that. So I want to read the source material and then watch the series and see how I go. And that will sort of tie in a little bit with Her Kid Challenges too. So it'll be good. Up next is the Witchlands series. I am so intrigued by this series. I think it's going to be right up my alley with everything that I love. So I want to experience this world and see how Susan Dennard's writing is. I do have a few other series by Susan Dennard, so I don't want to add more to the 35 in 35, and I've got a feeling that that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start creeping it in to be like the author's backlist. I don't want to do that. However, let's just say I got to 34 and I'd already completed a lot of these. That's asking for a lot in 12 months, but you never know. Then maybe I'll consider going and adding on the backlist of authors to really challenge me, or I just make a new one saying 36 before 36. I don't know. We'll see how we go, but I'm trying to refrain from adding too many of full authors' backlists. I do have a couple on here, but the idea being that they're just a single series. So hopefully I enjoy Susan Dennard, because, as I said, I do have other books by her and I need to get them all read. Up next is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I have only read the first book in the series, and it was like 10 years ago. I absolutely loved it, but I would need to reread Scythe to be able to keep going with it. So I'm just going to leave it as unread for now. And obviously I got way too into it that I had to add a little Scythe ghoulie here, because I just thought it was really fun. But yes, I really enjoyed the first book, so looking forward to reading them all. Up next is Reign of Shadows and Endings, The Legacy. Excuse me, got the hiccups. By Melissa K. Rorick. I've heard a lot of really good things about this series and want to experience it for myself. So that's my challenge, as opposed to the rest of this challenge. I don't know. All right. That's not called the Legacy series. What's it called? No, I can't even see it. It's right behind my camera. That's truly devious. I knew there had to be a mistake on here eventually, right? Okay. So the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. The first book is on my 25 in 25 list for this year, so I'm definitely hoping to get to that in the last couple of months of the year. But a lot of people seem to enjoy this series, so hopefully it holds up, and I'm looking forward to it. Up next is the Everseas series by LJ Andrews. I've heard a lot of really good things about this series, so I want to experience it, and it is now getting traditionally published, so I do want to get my hands on them. Well, I'm going to read them first and then get my hands on them if I enjoy them. But book 4 is coming out next year. It was held off being indie published because it got picked up, so it's now being delayed. Well, I think the Mist Thief is still to be traditionally published. I think that comes out next month. Whereas the Ever King came out last month and the Ever Queen came out this month, or is coming out this month. And then book 6 will be in 2026. So I've got some time to get to that one and then read on. Up next is the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So I have started this. I've read the first book and the novella, so I want to keep going. They are interconnected duologies with some novellas in between. So this is the second book in the first duology, then a novella of Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. Oh, I don't know if I'd really call it a novella. It's quite a chunky book, or not chunky, but it's a novel-sized book. And then these two are a novella, and then there is the first book in the next duology. I said novella for these, sorry, I meant duology. The first book in the next duology is coming out in 2026, and that's what it's called, The Lion in the Deathless Dark. So, yeah, I really enjoyed The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I gave it a 5 stars. I did enjoy Six Scorched Roses. I can't remember if I gave it a 4 or 4.5. I don't think it was a 5 stars. But I'm looking forward to The Ashes and the Starcursed King, because I believe it's a dual point of view for that one. I'm pretty sure that's how she does it, is the second book in the duology is dual. So looking forward to that. Up next is the Kingdom of Lies series by Stacia Stark. This was an author that I've heard so many good things about that I had to refrain myself from not just putting on the entire backlist. So I went with this series. I hope that I enjoy it, but looking forward to it. Up next is The Lord of the Rings, because I feel like I should read this. The Fellowship of the Rings is on my 25 in 2025. I'm debating whether I read The Hobbit first. That's my only caveat to that series. I think if I decide to read The Hobbit first, I'm just going to count that as my 25 in 2025. Because the idea being that I wanted to read the first one to start reading these. And I did put on the Silmarillion on there because this is still set in the world, but I didn't want to go through and add all of the other books that do tie into the Middle-earth world until I sort of decide that I want to read more of this world. I have vivid memories of being a kid and being forced to read these books at school, and that was during my non-reading era, and it has scarred me, so I'm scared for this series. But I love the movies, and I'm hoping that knowing the characters from the movies helps me read these books. Up next is the Cosmere Universe. Yeah. This series scares me as well because there's just so much of it, and from what I've heard and like listening to Brandon Sanderson talk about it, he's so good at weaving in things between the different books and picking up pieces and connecting worlds and sort of giving like little trinkets of things from previous books or glimpses to what's coming, that it just scares me, but I'm excited. I want to get into it. I'm hoping that this is the correct reading order. I've found so many different things and then some of them didn't have everything listed, and yeah, I went with one, and hopefully it's a good way of reading it. So if you recommend a different way, please let me know, but this is currently what I will be doing. Up next is the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. I wanted to mix up from all the fantasy worlds on here, and I'm looking forward to this. And then lastly is Fables. This is the entire Fables universe. So there's the Fables graphic novel, and then Jack of Fables, and then there's what's the Cinderella one? Fable Ever After? No, that doesn't sound right. Oh, Fairest is what I'm thinking of. And then there's a couple at the end here from here on where it's just other people technically wrote them, but they're to tie in to the Fable universe. But I just don't think they did as well after Bill Willingham left or stopped writing them. So they only had a couple. But I'm looking forward to diving into this world. I love retellings, so I'm hoping that I love these, and I do own quite a lot of these. So I just want to read my TBR. Really. But anyway. Alright. Let's just change this. So they are all the books that I've got on my 35 before 35 series. I'm hoping I can get to them, but I just wanted to give myself a challenge and sort of guide some reading, and a lot of these books I do own, so I need to read them. But there are also ones that intimidate me, scare me, or I've just heard some amazing things about them. So yeah, I want to give myself another challenge. I don't know how often I will update you on this challenge. I don't think I'll add this into my monthly wrap up of challenges. I think this will be more like a quarterly check-in just to see how I'm going with them. But I do want to have these graphics in mind when I'm creating my TBRs. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you're doing a challenge similar to this, or if I've inspired you to do a challenge similar to this. Why not? Anything that makes reading fun and enjoyable, I'm here for it. Anyway, I will see you all next time. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe if you want to, and I will see you all next time. Bye!